Imagine this, 315,000 years ago, in the hot dust of Africa, a single species took its first shaky steps toward becoming us. Not apes, not cavemen in the cartoon sense, actual modern humans. This is where our story begins. Welcome to Past Present Playlist. I'm your host, and every week we're going to unscroll human history in perfect order. One pivotal event at a time. No skipping tracks, no jumping around. From the very first modern humans, all the way to the digital age and beyond. Today, Episode 1, The Birth of Modern Humans. This single moment changed everything that came after, including the phone you're watching this on right now. In 2017, a team of scientists working in a Moroccan cave called Jebel Irhoud made a jaw-dropping discovery. They found skull fragments, teeth, and stone tools that were far older than anyone expected. These weren't just any early humans. These were Homo Sapiens, modern humans, dated to roughly 315,000 years ago. That pushed back the birth of our species by almost 100,000 years from what scientists used to believe. Think about that. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors lived, loved, hunted, and survived long before anyone wrote a single word. Scientists were stunned. This discovery didn't just push the timeline back. It completely changed how we picture the very first chapter of Homo Sapiens. For decades, we thought modern humans appeared around 200,000 years ago. Jebel Irhoud proved we were already us much earlier. Bonus fun fact. These early humans already had the exact same number of teeth we have today. 32. Some things never change. So what actually made them different? They had smaller faces, higher foreheads, and, crucially, brains wired very similarly to ours. They created complex stone tools, controlled fire, and most importantly, they showed the first glimmers of symbolic thinking. They were capable of imagination, planning, and maybe even storytelling around the fire. This wasn't just survival. This was the beginning of culture. And here's the wild part. We almost didn't make it. Early Homo sapiens populations were tiny and came dangerously close to extinction more than once.
Không có độ kinh doanh.
Cái đây nói chung là công sức 4 ngày đi nữa chứ không phải là.
Nói chung là trong đây sẽ có trải nghiệm của mình.
Genetic evidence shows our ancestors' population dropped so low that the entire species was reduced to just a few thousand people at one point. We were hanging on by a thread. Every single human alive today is descended from those incredibly resilient survivors. Why did this happen in Africa and not somewhere else? Because Africa at that time was a perfect storm of climate shifts, abundant resources, and diverse environments. Lakes, rivers, savannas, and coastlines gave our ancestors everything they needed to experiment, adapt, and eventually spread. From Africa, small groups would later walk out and eventually populate every corner of the planet. Every single human alive today, no matter where you live, carries DNA that traces back to these early African populations. And here's what makes this even more incredible. Those small groups in Africa didn't stay put. Over tens of thousands of years, their descendants slowly spread across the planet, walking through deserts, crossing oceans, and eventually reaching every continent. From those first footsteps in Africa came the incredible diversity we see in humans today. This single chapter explains why we cooperate, why we create art, why we explore, and why we sometimes fight. It explains our incredible resilience and our shared humanity. Every war, every invention, every song, every YouTube video, it all started with those first modern humans taking their first uncertain steps in Africa 315,000 years ago. So the next time you look in the mirror, remember this. You carry inside you one of the greatest survival stories in Earth's history. The same curiosity, creativity, and resilience that drove those first modern humans is still alive in all of us. That's why this story matters, and why we're unscrolling the rest of it together. Next week in Episode 2, we'll step even further into prehistory and visit the strangest place on Earth, a massive temple built by hunter-gatherers 12,000 years ago. Before farming, before cities, before anyone should have been able to build something like that. If you're enjoying the journey so far, do me a favor. Hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Thank you for watching the very first episode of Past Present Playlist. See you next Friday as we keep unscrolling humanity's story.